what it is. So new role, new timing, all of that. So took it out there. It's just basketball.
Alex?
D'Lo, obviously the fourth time seeing Phoenix, but the first time with their big three fully healthy. I think they accounted for 67% of their points. What'd you see from them at the beginning that made it challenging once they were able to get going?
They got the scoring, and it was kind of tough for us to kind of slow it down a little bit. Fouls and turnovers on top of that kind of just made it an easier night for them. So tough team.
Dan?
D'Lo, a couple for you. We haven't spoken to you since the tailbone injury. Physically, are you back to 100%? You had, I think, a knee thing tonight. Are you physically?
Yeah, I'm good.
And secondly, the reality of this league is that people talk about trades and stuff like that. Like, this is that time of year. How do you personally handle that? Discussion about yourself and your status. I know last year you spoke about being comfortable.
Yeah.
I guess, are you uncomfortable right now?
Me? No.
Yeah, as these things kind of rattle around.
No, I mean, it is what it is. Since I've been in the league, I've kind of been dealing with that to where I know I can't control it. I know those things happen no matter how well you play, how professional you act, how many shots you make or miss. It's going to happen regardless. So I don't really go about my day even worrying about that, to be honest.
I watched the first episode of your podcast yesterday.
My podcast?
I did.
What's the name of it?
Backyard Boys?
Shout out the backyard.
The Backyard.
Heck yeah.
And you talked about a conversation you had with Dwayne Wade on a trip to China.
Mhm.
Obviously, you know, it's a guy who played alongside LeBron a lot and had a lot of success. You mentioned something about him telling you ways to find injury. I was just wondering if you could elaborate on that story.
I mean, it was just kind of, but I went to China kind of right after the season. So it was along the lines of the playoffs were still fresh, Western Conference, all of that. And I didn't go out the way I wanted to go out. I didn't perform the way I wanted to perform, things like that. And I ended up going to China, and D-Wade was there, and he just mentioned that, you know, the whole bullet train was only probably 4 or 5 hours, and it was just all basketball, high-level basketball conversation. You know, ways to play alongside LeBron, you know, things like that. Ways to affect the game without the ball, you know, things like that. So being here now is just a newer position than I've ever been in now and when I first got here last season. So just continuing to weather the storm, weather the adjustments, and try to stay positive through the adversity.
D'Angelo, you guys have had some pockets of really effective offense, certainly in season tournament games here or there, but it hasn't been consistent as a team. I'm just wondering what are some of the things you're seeing on that end that are working well, some that aren't as much, and as you approach this next stretch of games.
I don't know. It's a lot we could talk about right now. As far as what could we fix, I don't know, short term, figure it out, and try to be better next game. I don't know. I think it's just a lot of holes in our system right now that you use the regular season to figure those things out. But the ups and downs, the digression, the setbacks, all these things, injuries, just keep playing a part in our success. So just next guy mentality. I think having a positive energy coming into work, practice and things like that, and getting better from game to game. I think that's where we start. We look at this game and get better in ways that we haven't had to look at, throughout the season. Right now it's time to figure it out and do something about it, whatever that may be.
When you're trying to figure out ways to plug those holes, are you finding that it's the same things that are coming up more often than not, or just within the team, or do you feel like there are new sets of problems, like the challenges of today weren't the challenges of 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, there's so many different challenges that we gotta try to bottle them up and limit as many as we can, just to try to scrape out some wins. I think we're a team that's still figuring things out. We're still mixing and matching lineups, finishing groups, starting groups. Like, we're still figuring it out. So I wouldn't say panic, or anything like that. I'm sure last year prime example of this team not being where they wanted to be, and we had some new energy, new vibes, and it kind of it got us to where we ended off last year. So I think you can still see light at the end of the tunnel. But we just gotta get better. Gotta keep getting better.
Thanks, D-Lo. Got Skylar here.
Tune into the pod, man.
Team.
I got it.